Hi everybody, Sean Holsinger here from HolsingersFlyShop.com and Posted Outdoors. Today the fly we're going to be tying is a Prince Nymph, an old standard fly that almost all of you have probably fished with if you do any fly fishing, any nymph fishing. A lot of beginners techniques in this, really good fly to learn to tie. You can use the techniques in this to tie other things. I hope you enjoy it. Okay, the fly I'm about to tie here is a Prince Nymph. This is pretty much a standard pattern. The one I'm going to tie it on is a size 12 Daiichi 1560 hook, just a standard wet fly nymph hook. 1/8 gold bead. I'm going to use red thread on this. That's what the standard has. Just going to start it on my hook like normal, wrap it back to the back. Okay, and then I'm going to wrap it back to the bend of the hook, and the first thing I'm going to put on it is some goose bites for the tail. But to make the tail and to make the tail stand out, I'm going to make a little ball back here at the end. And the way I make that ball is I put my fingernail there, and I wrap tight up against my fingernail. And it makes a nice little ball. Just keep wrapping it right up against it. It makes a nice little ball you can see there. And this is going to help flare the goose bites out. I'm going to put one on each side, and I'm going to do them one at a time. You don't want your tail real long, but you want to lay it up against the shank there. And soft loop and a tight loop like always. I'm going to put the one on the other side. Matching length. Hold this up against the side here and tie it down. I'm going to wrap it back towards that ball. Just keep wrapping it till you get there, and that ball is going to flare the ends out. As you can see here, you can see how it flared the ends out. Okay, that's what I want to see on that. Okay, now I'm going to take my tag ends off here and cut them off. Okay. Now I'm going to wrap down a piece of gold tinsel. This is going to be our ribbing here in a little bit. Oops. This is a beginner's fly. It's a little bit difficult to tie. Not real difficult, but it's definitely one that you should practice on because there's a few techniques in here that you're going to use in other flies, like the goose bites that I just showed you, the ribbing. Definitely a lot of beginner techniques all put together to make one really good what we call generic nymph. Doesn't really represent anything in particular, but it represents a lot of different things. The next thing we're going to do is I'm going to tie 3 or 4 pieces of peacock herl in it. Okay, I'm going to take the ends, not the butt ends. I don't want to be using the butt ends, but the tips. And I'm going to tie the tips down. And these things are very brittle. I'm going to make a couple loops around here. Tear off the end. You see how brittle they are. I just pull them off with my fingers. Okay, now what I want to do is I want to wrap back here to the end. Okay, then I'm going to take my peacock herl, and if you watch my Griffith Nat video, I'm going to make a rope out of the peacock herl. With the peacock herl, I'm going to wrap it around my thread. This is going to strengthen your peacock herl, make them not break as easily. Just going to keep wrapping it around it. And then I'm going to wrap this around the hook. And I'm going to wrap it almost the whole way. And you want to give it a little bit of body here, so you want it a little bit thick. Not real thick, but slightly. And you might have to rewrap as you go. Okay, now like I said, I want to wrap it up close to the head. Give yourself a little bit of room right behind the bead because you're going to tie some other stuff in there. And I had to unwrap my peacock herl there to get the thread off of it so I can tie it down. I'm just going to tie my peacock herl, wrap behind it, tie it down a couple of wraps. Make sure it's good and secure. Cut them off. Okay, now it's time to put our ribbing on it. Okay, now we're just going to wrap this up. Try to make it even. Just continue to... I'm going to get 4, maybe 5 wraps on here. Until I get up here to where I'm going to tie it off. Okay, now comes what's probably the most difficult part of this beginner's fly here, is getting the 2 white billets for the wings. Okay, on the back we use 2 pieces of brown goose billets. On this one we're going to use 2 white ones on the front for the wings. And what I do is I take them and I spread them like this in my fingers, okay? And then I'm going to lay them right down on top, okay? I want to keep them in that V as I lay them and tie them down. And this is the part that takes a little bit of practice. I put them on where I want them, get them the length I want them, just shy of the tail. And then I'm going to pinch them down on top. I'm going to loosely loop them down and then pull that tight. Okay, I want that to ride right on top. If I have to, I'll twist them around a little bit to get it nice and even, so it's even with the wing, with the tail. I'm going to cut my tag ends off here. Okay. Clean this up a little bit. Now, the last thing I'm going to do on this is I'm going to put a little bit of hackle on it. The hackle I like to use on this, I use a Brahma hen hackle. It kind of imitates a peacock or a partridge hackle. I'm going to pinch the tip of it in my fingers. You see the tip of the feather here. Just going to pinch the tip, and I'm going to pull the feathers back like that. Okay. Then that's what I'm going to tie down. I'm going to tie this tip end here down. Okay. Then I'm going to come back and I'm going to trim that tip off. Okay. Now, I'm going to take and I'm going to wrap this around, and all I'm going to put on there is about 2 wraps. Okay. Then I'm going to take and I'm going to pull all this back. I'm going to tie this down. I'm going to tie them right behind the bead here. Okay, now I'm going to cut my hackle feather off. I'm going to pull my hackle fibers back and clean this up. Okay, just like that. And then you make a nice little red collar here. And we're going to half hitch it off right behind the bead. I do about 4, maybe 5 of these, just to make sure I get a good knot on there. And that's all there is to tying the Prince Nymph. Like I said, this is the standard pattern. I also tie this with ice dubbing sometimes. Simple fly, takes some practice, but definitely one that you want to have in your box. It's a great generic nymph pattern. Represents a lot of nymphs that will be on the bottom where you're fishing. Long time successful pattern. Definitely one you want to try. Thanks again for watching. I hope you enjoyed learning how to tie the Prince Nymph. I promise you if you use it, it'll be a successful fly. And all the material we used in this fly, we will carry on our website at holsingersflyshop.com. So please check us out on the internet at holsingersflyshop.com, and don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel to be updated every time we come out with a new video. Thanks a lot.